Daytime, I'm telling you, the things you learn about people during the break here at this show. That's what we love about doing Daytime Ottawa. We're going to tell you about a wonderful education program. It's a national program that is doing wonderful things to help people here in our community. We are joined by Don Lyons. He's the program manager with Pathways to Education Ottawa. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here, Don. And Assan Omar, he is a student. Welcome to the show. A former student, I guess, now, but you're still involved with the program.
Yes.
Don, tell us a little bit about the where this originated. Where did the idea stem from?
Sure. So the Pathways program is a model that was actually developed in Regent Park in Toronto in 2001. And it was developed in response to research in that community that showed that a very large proportion of the youth in the neighborhood were not graduating high school.
Right.
And it's a program that works in partnership, a community-based program that works in partnerships with schools to support youth in a variety of ways to succeed in high school, to graduate high school, and to move on to post-secondary education. So there's academic support, social support, mentoring, as well as financial support. And it's in Regent Park, they achieved really outstanding outcomes, reducing the dropout rate from almost by 70%, and increasing the enrollment in post-secondary by 300%.
Wow.
So really phenomenal. There's now 11 other sites across Canada.
Okay.
We were one of the first sites to replicate the model, and the other sites are also achieving phenomenal results. So it's a really wonderful, amazing program.
And Assan, you are somebody who has gone through the program yourself.
Yes, that's right. Well, first, because I came to this country as a refugee with my mother, and I lived in a lower housing community, and thanks to my mom finding out about the program, I was able to use the program, and it was really nice to use it because throughout my years in high school, I used it by means of getting tutoring, getting mentorship, and going to different events from the donors. And also using the little incentives that we really need, especially through tough times, especially if you first come to this country and you're having a difficult time finding a job and whatnot. Especially that's what happened with my mother trying to find a job and whatnot, using bus vouchers or lunch vouchers to help students in lower housing communities give that little push for them to go to school, which is a great thing to have to really push themselves to get better marks and whatnot.
Yeah, Don, you found that in your research because you did the research here in the area, and you found that that was one of the things that was stopping kids from getting an education.
We looked locally in the West End. So we're part of Pinecrest Queensway Community Health Centre.
Okay.
So we focused on the social housing neighborhoods within the Pinecrest Queensway's catchment area. And we got information about the historical high school dropout rate. And what we discovered really shocked us because we learned that the historical dropout rate was 49%, meaning almost half of the kids in the neighborhoods were not graduating high school. So we really wanted to dig a bit deeper and understand what are the barriers that young people are encountering. And as we explored it, we realized the barriers were very similar to what was encountered in Regent Park. And transportation was one of the key barriers to get to and from school. And we know in Ottawa, the winter months in particular are really, really cold. But the cost of paying for transportation to get to and from school was really prohibitive. Another barrier was access to academic support. A lot of families in our community are immigrants, so there's language barriers. Maybe the parents haven't gone to school in Canada, aren't familiar with the curriculum, or are working several shift work jobs, so aren't available to be able to help their children, so being able to provide that. And then the other significant barrier we encountered when we were doing the research was really a lack of access to leadership and recreational kinds of programming that allow you to explore new things and discover passions and talents that can ultimately lead to more fulfilling life and career paths.
And you have two new programs that are coming up. The Youth Leadership Program, I guess, has already been in operation, but also the Peace Building Project. You're part of the Youth Leadership Program, isn't that right?
Yes, for the UCAN, that's funded by the Trillium Foundation. We talked about different ways of conflict resolution and how to, when you go into a conversation, how to respect where the person's coming from, what their culture is, how the ways in which they live, and how to really communicate properly with them and not try to offend them in any way, or even talking about different types of racism and sexism and all that, which was a great learning experience, especially in high school, because there's lots of areas where people fall into having difficulty with understanding what bullying is and stuff, and to understand different people's culture and use that UCAN leadership thing, the conflict resolution really helps, which is very important.
Absolutely. Well, you're a great ambassador for the program. There's no
Thank you.
doubt about it, Assan. Dawn, we've run out of time, but want to find out how people can get involved, how they can find out more information about the program.
Oh, great question. So we're always looking for volunteers. So I want to put a little plug out. We're always looking for people to help us in our tutoring and mentoring program. And if you go to www.pathwaystoeducation.ca, you can find out all the information you need.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you both for being
Oh,
here. Really
thank you.
appreciate it. And
much.
congratulations on all your success, Assan.
Thank you.
There you go. It's amazing what just something so small can help somebody and turn them into somebody that is really helping your community. And Assan's a great example of
Who
that.
wants
Listen.
to become a police officer?
Yeah, exactly. A police officer here in our community. Don't go away. We're going to tell you about there's craft shows galore here in our city because it's holiday time.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you about a very unique one coming up right after this.